Hello, Kira. It is officially week 2 of training for Ironman Oregon 70.3. This week, there's a plane flying overhead, and we're concentrating on getting comfortable on this bike. Wow, was I feeling long-winded when I filmed that intro. The TLDR is this week I want to 1, figure out how to clip in and out of the bike, 2, figure out how to get in and out of my aerobars, and then 3, once I'm comfortable, go take my new TT bike on a ride I've done before on my old road bike to see if all the time and money I spent on this thing was worth it. Fingers crossed. Also, ignore this crazy outfit. Literally making it work. I'm realizing I don't own anything for riding when it's cool out, so I need to get some like winter cycling gear. So we're making it work today. I don't know if you are using clip-in shoes for your bike, but Nice Bike Fitting Man gave me a pro tip. He was like, my shoes are fine. They have these like turny thing here that allows you to tighten down the shoe, and it tightens down the laces to like cinch the shoe to your foot. In the future, if I was gonna upgrade, he recommended getting shoes that had 2 knobs, one on the front and one on the back, just so you could keep the toe a bit looser and then cinch down more on the top of the foot. But in the meantime, he just unlaced the bottommost one and just kept that completely uncinched, and then I can just cinch down the top as much as I need. And it's just one of those things I never would have known or like thought to look up with that recommendation. They're actually pretty comfortable. Now I've stalled long enough. Let's try getting on this bike. Okay, I had to look up a video on how to do this. The in, I feel pretty confident on. You just clip in, and then I'm just gonna throw my leg over and clip the other one in. It's the getting out that I'm less confident with. Put out the cigarette, put out the cigarette. Okay, and then if I'm here, I'm gonna get off, be a lot of toe. A lot of toe, a lot of toe. Oh, I'm in. Nice. Oh God, okay, stop. Okay, going good. You're okay, Emily. If you're in, you're just gonna be gliding, and then stop. We're gliding, and then we stop. And then we're gliding, and then we stop. We're gliding. Ooh, you wanna stop? Okay, I'm riding. Oh, I wanna stop. I'm going to unclip at the top, slow down, and step. And then I undo that one. We're heading towards the car. I'm not gonna hit my own car, that'd be so embarrassing. Unclip at the top. Nope, oh God. Unclip and stop. Okay, I want my right foot down and my left foot up for stopping. I think I wanna try that one more time. Okay. I feel like I've got the clipping in part down. Heading towards the car. Coming to say hi to Kira. Oh, don't want to hit my own car. Yeah, okay. That wasn't scary at all. Whew, I did it. Okay, I feel pretty comfortable now getting on and off of the bike. Next step, get comfortable in the aero bars. There's definitely an old man that just appeared that totally saw me do that intro. Okay, I'm down. Aha, okay, not bad at all. We're here. Look at this. Whew, it does get cold fast. Hello, wind chill. Oh my goodness, so much fun. Oh wow, this wants to go fast. Oh, okay, and then this one, changing gears. Oh, that's fine. Morning. Okay. Oh, I want to stop. Oh, I almost forgot how to stop. I did it. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so proud of me. Okay, I've been out here for probably about 45 minutes maybe, just practicing. So now I figure, let me try to go for like a 30-minute ride and see what happens. I'm gonna throw in some music and just see if I can ride comfortably for 30 minutes on this bike, how far I go and what speed I feel comfortable going. Down to the aero bars. I feel like I'm very close to you right now. Okay, this definitely uses weird muscles. Like he warned me, it's like less quad than you think, and it's a whole lot of that hip flexor. Like I feel it really in my hip. I love riding my bike. Ooh, rock. Okay, I'm gonna make a turn. Turning. So these tri-bikes, in comparison to road bikes, have a lot worse handling. I mean, 1, because you're in the aero bars, but 2, because your weight is more over the front wheel, as opposed to on a road bike or on a mountain bike, your weight would just be more in the seat. And so it just means you're not as nimble on turn. These bikes were really made to go fast, straight. Wow, do these use different muscles like this? The nice bike guy also warned me, he's like, everything around here is a hill. There's no flat and straight around here. You're always going up or down. And so, I mean, I guess it's good training. If I train for harder, then the course will be, hopefully the course will feel easy, right? This is so much fun. I just got to a downhill. This is amazing. Oh my God. I am gonna have to strengthen my arms. I like how my arms are already tired. But wow, this is fun. I could do this all day if it wasn't for my arms. I procrastinated coming out and doing this because I was so nervous. And I'm so glad I did. God, this is the best. Oh my God, I'm so glad I got out of bed this morning. This is awesome. I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to go to Lake Mead and do the course for the triathlon that we were supposed to do like 2 months ago, because I've done that trail so many times on my cheap road bike, and I'd be intrigued to see how much of a difference this nice bike does, even on that hilly course. So if you don't know, TT bikes or triathlon bikes, they're best when you're on straight, flat conditions. Once you start getting hilly, they do lose some of their advantages, but I kind of want to see how fast I can go down the hills on that course. Okay, so welcome to my very echoey bathroom. Here's the reality of vlogging this. I went and did the ride that I talked about at the beginning of the video. I went and did a ride that I had done before a ton of times on my road bike in order to see if I could do it faster in my new TT bike. And it didn't go fantastically. I literally did it a day after filming me trying to clip in and learn how to do all that for the first time. And it turns out that the TT bike uses drastically different muscles than a road bike. It's a lot less quad and a lot more hip flexor, a thing that I don't tax all that often as a CrossFitter with like high repetition movement. And so I just got really tired about halfway through the ride. But I was still gonna use the footage. I was just gonna be upfront that, you know, mistakes were made, lessons were learned, and we were gonna continue on. And then what did I do? I accidentally deleted all the footage. I don't know how, I don't know why, things happen. So now I need to go out and get more footage of me riding so I can wrap up the sort of 3-act structure we had going on in this vlog. Except today is the only day this week that I can go get this ride done. And it's 38 degrees outside. So I am currently putting on 2 pairs of pants before I put on the crazy race bibs. I've got a long sleeve shirt and a jacket, and I'll maybe put on a second jacket. I'm still learning what you have to put on when it's cold outside. I've been working out in a gym for the last 10 years. I don't know how to dress for the weather when working out. So we're gonna figure this out, and I'm not gonna freeze my tootsies off. Oh my God, the dogs around my house will not shut up. I also did my like big hard workout of the week yesterday, so I am very sore. I'm just trying to get this old achy body up and moving a little bit so we can go do this ride. I have so much work to do today too. We're gonna get it done. I am a woman who can do it all. I knew I was forgetting something. I just drove all the way out here. Oh my God, I'm so mad at myself. I just drove 35 minutes from home out here to Lake Mead to do this damn ride. And I just realized I forgot my helmet. I knew I forgot something. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. I was trying to figure out the whole drive here what I forgot, and it's the helmet. And I know some people out there would go ride their bike comfortably without one, but this ride is on the road, like with cars going by, which already freaks me out. And I can't do that without a helmet. Oh my God, I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad. Okay, how do I salvage this? Hello, beautiful Lake Mead. I'm sorry I'm not gonna get to ride with you today. So much of training for this triathlon, and I'm only like 3 weeks in at this point, is just logistics I found. Like finding the time to bike, swim, and run, and then making sure you have all of the parts that you need to do each of those things when you can do them. And I know I'm gonna get better at it. I know it's gonna get easier. Oh my God, I'm so mad at myself. Okay, taking a minute, I've cooled down. We can still go home and just do a very, very short ride, a little closer to home with a helmet on, so I can still flush out my legs, still have gotten on the bike today, and can get enough footage that I can put over me telling you why the first ride didn't go so well and the lessons that I've learned since that I think would be helpful. I guess for the vlog, we now have tension, we have stakes, you know, proven from very early on in this journey. We're not going to show you just the highlights. We'll show you when things go wrong too. All right, we're gonna make this work. Okay, so what do I mean by that first ride didn't go well? Well, if you look online, when people talk about getting a TT bike, they often talk about gaining 1 to 3 miles per hour with no additional effort, which sounds really exciting. And I wanted, you know, to go 1 to 3 miles per hour faster without working any harder. So imagine my surprise when I go out and do my test run on the new bike and come back, check the data, and I actually went 0.3 miles per hour slower on the TT bike than I did on the road bike. Imagine the sadness, imagine the dismay, imagine not being able to get your front wheel in. There we go. But I have done some research since and learned some lessons, and we're not throwing the TT bike away anytime soon. So here's what I learned that you might find useful if you're considering getting a TT bike, or at the very least putting aerobars on your road bike. Lesson number 1, TT bikes use very different muscles from road bikes. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, they're both bikes. They both use your legs. My road bike uses way more quad, and I very quickly learned that my TT bike uses way more hip flexor, and I believe they're called abductors, the Jane Fonda muscles. Woo-wee, does it use those? And not only are those muscles different, they're very small. How did I... Taking it over my head. Okay, we're in. So it uses a bunch of really small muscles that you can blow out really easily, meaning they get tired, and then you're just sort of screwed. But I've learned they also adjust very quickly. Like, I've only gone on a handful of rides since that fated sad ride, and I now, while my hip flexors do get tired, they don't get anywhere near as tired as they did on that first ride. So I've just had to adjust the mileage in my head that I know I can comfortably ride without injuring or wearing myself out. I have rode up to a 30-mile long ride on my road bike. I had done that 12-mile ride at least half a dozen times, and so I thought it'd be fine to go tackle it on the TT bike. It just turns out I probably should have taken it just a little bit slower, and I probably just went too hard, too fast. Aerobars or bust, definitely not the vibe. So it turns out that there is actually a small mechanical advantage to being out of the aerobars, but you gain an aerodynamic advantage being in them. Ergo the name. aero bars. So when you're going fast, the aerodynamic advantage outweighs the mechanical disadvantage to being in the aero bars, and that's why people use them. But when you're going slow, it's actually worth it to get out of the aero bars to gain back that mechanical advantage. And I've tried doing some research on what the speed is that makes sense to switch from one to the other, and it turns out it's not super cut and dry, because things like whether or not you're in a headwind or a tailwind, your efficiency in the aero bars, and what kind of road conditions you're on all come into play. But the 7 to 9 miles per hour I was hitting on many of the hills on my test ride is definitely slow enough that I should have been out of the aero bars way more often than I was. But I was just so excited. I had paid all this money and gotten this fancy bike. I wanted to use the damn bars. So it turns out I just need to do more testing to figure out when it makes sense for me to be in my aero bars versus in my normal bars. But I had tried to stay in my aero bars for like 85% of that test ride, and looking back at it, I should probably only have been in them for like, I don't know, less than 50% of that ride. Which brings me to my next lesson. That ride was a terrible ride to test a TT bike versus a road bike. It's just super hilly, and TT bikes gain most of their advantage on flat, straight roads. So because I mechanically should not have been in my aero bars for most of that ride, I just had very little time to gain an advantage being in the aero bars. So it just made me realize that DC and I need to do a little bit of research and try to find somewhere outside of Vegas, most likely, that we could take a weekend and maybe go camp at somewhere with some flat roads and spend a weekend testing out some flat ground so I can really test this bad boy out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get really good at climbing hills. So I probably had my expectations set too high given the type of course that I was on in my TT bike. Very nice bike fitter man had given me the advice that the most efficient cadence to be at on a bicycle is between 85 to 95 revolutions per minute. And that test ride I went on was the very first ride I had done with my power meter. So it was the very first time I was riding with something that could tell me what cadence I was at. And it turns out that left to my own devices, naturally, I ride under 70 revolutions per minute. And so that whole ride, I was trying to get up to 85 and failing. And I think that higher cadence also put a ton of new pressure on my hip flexor, which is part of why my hip flexor felt so terrible after that first ride. So I'm gonna do more research on this high cadence idea. I have seen it in other places, and I think the idea is it's not only supposed to be more efficient on the bike, but it's supposed to leave you feeling better on the run than doing lower cadence, higher torque. But I also think, like many things, jumping from 70 to 90 revolutions per minute on my first ride was probably not the move. Probably why I felt so crummy when I got back to my car. And if I do more research and find that yes, that higher cadence is something I want to work towards, maybe I'll try to raise it by, like 3 to 4 revolutions per minute at first, instead of trying to jump at 20 in one ride. Maybe, just maybe. We'll see. We'll see if that ends up being a good idea. Who knows? So there you go. Keep having to remind myself I'm only 2 weeks into this whole thing. There's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot to do in the next 8 months. And I'm not going to know it all week 1. And we're going to make some mistakes along the way. But the good news is I have gone on multiple rides since that ill-fated first ride that no one apparently will ever see. And the rest of them have gone much better. And I've been seeing my power output pretty steadily rise ride over ride, even though I'm quite new, which feels really great. I love being a newbie at things. I love seeing results every time you go out for a new adventure. It's great. It's very refreshing after doing CrossFit for 10 years and just like pounding your head into the dirt trying to gain 5 pounds on a clean. When you do stuff you're new at and stuff you suck at, you get better much faster, and that's really fun. And keep an eye out, because I try to do like one big bad triathlon workout a week to really get my mind in the right place. And next week's big bad triathlon workout, I think, is going to be a mock high rocks, which I'm super excited about. But in the meantime, I love you and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. Bye.